This is David Bethea from the Title Run Sports Podcast, coming to you today with 5 burning questions about the 2021 Atlanta Braves. Coming in 2021, the biggest question facing the Atlanta Braves is whether or not they have fixed their terrible rotation. The Braves got some unexpectedly clutch performances in the playoffs last year, enough to make you forget just how absolutely dreadful the rotation was for most of last season. The Braves had 10 players that started at least 3 games last season. One of those was Max Fried. Out of the remaining 9, 6 of those pitchers had an ERA over 5, 4 of them had an ERA over 8. And the Braves starting pitching ranked in the bottom 5 of the majors in nearly every statistical category. Now this year the Braves have added the ageless wonder Charlie Morton and a wild card in Drew Smyly. While they aren't exactly Kershaw and Bauer, they are pretty much guaranteed to be a massive upgrade over what we got out of Cole Hamels, Tommy Malone, Touki Toussaint, and Sean Newcomb in 2020. And as you can see, those numbers are beyond dreadful. The second big question is whether or not the Braves can manage a top 5 bullpen again. Chris Martin, Tyler Matzek, AJ Minter, and Will Smith all returned to helm a back end that, on paper, appears to be about as solid as any in the league. However, that assumes that Tyler Matzek and AJ Minter are going to be able to duplicate career years in which Minter had an ERA of under 1 at .83 and Matzek fanned batters at a ludicrous rate of 13 per 9 innings. Their regression is nearly certain, and the Braves won't boast the same depth as they did last year with the departures of Shane Green and the pictured Mark Melancon. The question whether the likes of Luke Jackson, Grant Dayton, Yosker Inoue, and Josh Tomlin can avoid pouring gasoline on the fires they are called to tend as the Braves transition their improved rotation over to the strong back end of their bullpen. The third burning question for the Braves is whether they can duplicate the lineup success they had in 2020. Can the Braves duplicate their 2020 lineup success? In short, I think the answer is yes. Now, it's not realistic to expect Freddie Freeman to put up an absurd WRC plus of 187 or for Marcell Ozuna to flirt with the Triple Crown. But it's not unreasonable to think that Ronald Acuna Jr. and Ozzie Albies could return to their 2019 form after subpar seasons for each of them in 2020, with Acuna only batting .250. These 4 All-Stars and Silver Sluggers are not the concern for Braves fans. The question is whether Dansby Swanson can stay healthy enough to duplicate what projected to be a career year in the shortened 2020 season, and whether Travis d'Arnaud can even approach the supernatural levels of offensive production he provided last year as easily the best hitting catcher in baseball. While it's hard to see the Braves' offense being one of the 2 best in baseball again, it's not unreasonable to think that they continue to produce at a top 5 level with good health. The fourth burning question is whether the Braves can win one of the deepest divisions in baseball. The Braves are just about universally projected to be a playoff team on the strength of an improved rotation and a strong lineup. However, outlets are split on whether they can hold off the much improved Mets to be the class of the NL East. What's interesting is that 4 of the 5 teams in the NL East are projected to be 500 or better. Most projections have the Nationals anywhere from 80 to 85 wins and just outside of the playoffs, with the Phillies hovering right around 500. Only the Marlins are expected to have a losing record, and even they are picked to be one of the better cellar dwellers at around 70 wins. The bottom line is that there are a lot fewer easy wins in the NL East than divisions like the NL West or the AL West, where the gap between the top and bottom teams is gaping. Assuming the bullpen takes a slight step back from great to just good, and the lineup remains one of the best in the league, the ceiling for the Braves comes down to their starting pitching. If the rotation is even average, the Braves should be a lock for the wild card. However, if Drew Smyly, Charlie Morton, and the returning Mike Soroka pitch to the top of their projections, there is no team in the NL East that's even close to as complete as the Atlanta Braves. What are the biggest concerns for the Atlanta Braves heading into 2021? Without question, the biggest concern for the Braves going into 2021 is bullpen depth. Can the back end carry a very questionable group of middle relievers? That remains to be seen. The second big concern is bench depth. Beyond Johan Camargo, is there a single bench player for the Braves that you really trust? Ender Inciarte can't hit, Pablo Sandoval is aging and habitually out of shape, and Ahire Adrianza is a complete unknown. Alex Jackson is a good defensive catcher, not really expected to hit. So there is just not the same confidence as having Tyler Flowers, Adam Duvall, and Charlie Culberson, or even Adeiny Echeverria ready to slide in late innings for either at-bats or defensive substitutions. This makes it a little bit hard to project the Braves because, assuming average health, they are the most complete team in the NL East. But if they suffer any injuries to their big four, it's hard to see them being able to survive for any significant stretches of time. So assuming reasonable health, I would have the Braves winning 94 games. Assuming an injury to one of the big four, I'd have the Braves winning closer to 88 games. So splitting the difference, I have the Braves coming in at 91 wins and returning to the wild card playoffs. I think the improved rotation and the return of Marcell Ozuna will be enough to power the Braves into a deep playoff run in 2021 and maybe even a chance to pull a miraculous upset against the LA Dodgers. Now, what are your thoughts? Please make sure to share in the comments. This is Dave Bethay with the Title Run Sports Podcast. That's it for today. And go Braves.